Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chev Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiri Ashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 15. A description of the kingdom of God. Text number 9 onwards. Satvam vidhatsva shambhuman stamsa lupta karmanam adabra dayaya drishtya apannanar hasikshitum. The demigods prayed to Brahma, please look upon us mercifully, for we have fallen into a miserable condition. Because of the darkness, all our work has been suspended. So if you recall, this is because of the pregnancy of Diti, and she kept the babies in her womb for 100 years. And towards the end, it became so intolerable for the demigods because of the ignorance and darkness started to spread all over the universe because of that pregnancy. It was so powerful. Because of complete darkness throughout the universe, the regular activities and engagements of all the different planets were suspended. In the north and south poles of this planet, there are sometimes no divisions of day and night. Similarly, when the sunlight does not approach the different planets within the universe, there is no distinction between day and night. And this is what was happening in all the upper planetary systems. Eshu deva ditergarbha oja kashipam arpitam dishastim rayan sarva vardate agnir avedasi. As fuel overloads a fire, so the embryo created by the semen of Kashyap in the womb of Diti has caused complete darkness throughout the universe. The darkness throughout the universe is explained herein as being caused by the embryo created in the womb of Diti by the semen of Kashyap Muni. Maitreya Uvacha Saprahasya Mahabaho Bhagwan Shabdagocharaha Pratyachashtatma Bhurdevan Prinan Ruchiraya Gira. Sri Maitreya said, thus Lord Brahma, who is understood by transcendental vibration, tried to satisfy the demigods, being pleased with the words of prayer. Brahma could understand the misdeeds of Diti, and therefore he smiled at the whole situation. He replied to the demigods present there in words they could understand. Brahma Vacha Manasa me Sutta Yushmat Purvaja Sanakadaya Cherur Vihaya Lokan Lokeshu Vigat Spriha. Lord Brahma said, my four sons, Sanak, Sanatan, Sanandan, and Sanat Kumar, who were born from my mind, are your predecessors. Sometimes they travel throughout the material and spiritual skies without any definite desire. So Brahmaji is going to tell them the story of four Kumaras and when they went to Vaikuntha and how they were offended by the gatekeepers, Jay and Vijay, and how they cursed Jay and Vijay. And Jay Vijay fell down and they are the ones who became Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. But the chapter description said description of the kingdom of God. So wonderfully the Vaikuntha Loka will be described through the journey of these four Kumaras. So sometimes they travel throughout the material and spiritual skies without any definite desire. When we speak of desire, we refer to desire for material sense gratification. Saintly persons like Sanak, Sanatan, Sanandan, and Sanat Kumar have no material desire, but sometimes they travel all over the universe out of their own accord to preach devotional service. स एकदा भगवतो वैकुण्ठस्यामलात्मनः ययुर्वैकुण्ठनिलयं सर्वलोकनमस्कृतम्. After thus traveling all over the universes, they also entered into the spiritual sky, for they were freed from all material contamination. In the spiritual sky, there were spiritual planets known as Vaikunthas, which are the residents of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his pure devotees, and are worshipped by the residents of all the material planets. So these four Kumaras, they were so powerful they could even enter Vaikuntha planets because they had no material desires. The material world is full of chaos and anxieties. In any of one of the planets, beginning from the highest down to the lowest Patal, every living creature must be full of chaos and anxieties, because in the material planets one cannot live eternally. The living entities, however, are actually eternal. They want an eternal home, an eternal residence, but because of accepting a temporal abode in the material world, they are naturally full of anxiety. In the spiritual sky, the planets are called Vaikuntha because the residents of these planets are free from all anxieties. For them, there is no question of birth, death, old age, and disease, and therefore they are not anxious. See, Vaikuntha planet, that's why it's called Vaikuntha. Means Vigat Kuntha, no anxiety, no miseries over there. First of all, it's eternal. Everybody lives eternally, and then there is no birth, old age, death, and disease over there. So, what could anybody be afraid of? And no material miseries, no adibhautik, adidevik, adiatmik klesha. That is the place we want to be at. That is where our soul belongs to. Somehow we have fallen here in the material world and we are suffering because of our ignorance. That's all. On the other hand, the residents of the material planets are always afraid of birth, death, disease, and old age. And therefore, they are full of anxieties. And anxiety and cares. Prabhupada said in the beginning, care also. And here, everything is temporary. Right now, I might have something. And first of all, I'll be anxious to protect it. And then I'll be afraid of losing it. And one day I'll lose it. And then I'll be in depression. So this is material world. Text 14. Vasanti yatra purusha sarve vaikuntha murtaya ye nimittena dharmin radhayan harim. In the Vaikuntha planets, all the residents are similar in form to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They all engage in devotional service to the Lord without desires for sense gratification. The residence and the form of living in Vaikuntha are described in this verse. The residents are all like the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan. In the Vaikuntha planets, Krishna's plenary feature as four-handed Narayan is a predominating deity. And the residents of Vaikuntha Lokas are also four-handed, just contrary to our conception here in the material world. Nowhere in the material world we find a human being with four hands. In Vaikuntha Loka, there is no occupation but the service of the Lord. And this service is not rendered with a purpose. Although every service has a particular result, the devotees never aspire for the fulfillment of their own desires. Their desires are fulfilled by rendering transcendental loving service to the Lord. So in Vaikuntha Lokas, not in Golok Vrindavan, which is the topmost Vaikuntha Loka, or in Ayodhya, but the other Vaikuntha Lokas, the residents and the Lord, they all have four-handed forms. Similar features like the Lord. Only difference between the residents and the Lord in Vaikuntha Lokas is the Lord only wears that Vajanti Mala He has the Srivatsa. He has that Bhrigupad chin on his chest. This is the only difference. Otherwise, they all look alike. Similarly, all the ladies, they look like Lakshmi ji, but there is some difference between Lakshmi ji and the ladies. And this was described in more detail in by Sanatan Goswami in Brihad Bhagavatam Gita when the Gop Kumar goes to Vaikuntha. So here also it's described in certain details. And here Prabhupada says, in Vaikuntha Loka, there is no occupation but the service of the Lord. So everybody there is engaged in loving service of the Lord. Nothing else. There's no, and the service is not rendered with any purpose except to please the Lord. Yatra chadya pumanaste bhagwan shabda gocharaha sattvam vishtabhya virajam swanam no mridayan vrishaha. In the Vaikuntha planets is a supreme personality of Godhead, who is the original person and who can be understood through the Vedic literature. He is full of the uncontaminated mode of goodness, with no place for passion or ignorance. He contributes religious progress for the devotees. The kingdom of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the spiritual sky cannot be understood by any process other than hearing from the description of the Vedas. There's no other way. It's not like somebody's going to shoot a video over there and bring it here. The only video that we can see is through these verses. And these verses are through the eyes of the devotees who have seen those places and they're describing it. No one can go see it. In this material world also, one who is unable to go to a far distant place by motorized conveyance can only understand about that place from authentic books. Similarly, the Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky are beyond this material sky. The modern scientists who are trying to travel in space are having difficulty going even to the nearest planet, the moon, to say nothing of the highest planets within the universe. There is no possibility that they can go beyond the material sky, enter the spiritual sky and see for themselves the spiritual planets, Vaikuntha. Therefore, the kingdom of God in the spiritual sky can be understood only through the authentic descriptions of the Vedas and Puranas. But the problem is people don't have faith in these scriptures. Or they say, oh, these are all made up stories. These are mythical stories. But even living in the material world, living on earth, like Prabhupada said, if we cannot go to a far distant place, we have to study about it and we have to, we can understand about it from a person who has been to that place. Just like among all of us, I don't think any of us have been to, say any country like Brazil, maybe take Brazil or Argentina. Now, just because we haven't been there doesn't mean that place does not exist. And if somebody shows us on TV, and suppose we watch this Discovery Channel on YouTube, and they take us to Argentina, they shoot the videos of that place, and they telecast it, and we'll just believe it. Yes, Argentina looks like this. Even if they shot the video in some other place, we'll just believe it. Yes, Discovery Channel, because they have the reputation of being authentic, we'll just believe it. Yes, this is Argentina. But when it comes to Vaikuntha planets, or even the higher planets in the material universe, where the scientists haven't been to or cannot go to, when the description comes in Srimad Bhagavatam, We have doubts about it. So, nah, it cannot be like that. Have you seen it? Have you seen Argentina? But you still believe that is Argentina. Or the classic example. How many of us have personally seen President Donald Trump of the USA? I don't think any of us have. We just get information about him from the videos, from the TV, newspapers, and other places. So should we just believe that this person that they describe as Donald Trump, he's the president of the United States? Or maybe they're just bluffing. Maybe they're just lying to us. No, we have full faith in those TV people and the newspaper people, the reporters. No, this is Donald Trump. He's the president of the United States. But when the Vedas describe the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna, and this is what he looks like, we have all kinds of doubts, all kinds of questions. This is the sad situation of today. In the material world, there are three modes of material qualities: goodness, passion, and ignorance. But in the spiritual world, there is no trace of the modes of passion and ignorance. There is only the mode of goodness, which is uncontaminated by any tinge of ignorance or passion. In the material world, even if a person is completely in goodness, he is sometimes subject to be polluted by the tinges of the modes of ignorance and passion. But in the Vaikuntha world, the spiritual sky, only the modes of goodness in its pure form exists. The Lord and his devotees reside in the Vaikuntha planets, and they are of the same transcendental quality, namely Shuddha Sattva, the mode of pure goodness. The Vaikuntha planets are very dear to the Vaishnavas, and for the progressive march of the Vaishnavas towards the kingdom of God, the Lord himself helps his devotees. So some description of Vaikuntha planets is given here, and they are completely in, not even in goodness, not even in material goodness, they're in Shuddha Sattva. That is a transcendental goodness. Not even a tinge of material passion, ignorance, or material goodness either. So that is where we have to go to. And if we are in the mode of passion and ignorance and goodness also, material goodness, still we cannot go there. We have to go beyond goodness. And then we become eligible to enter Vaikuntha planets. So these four Kumaras were in that mode when they could easily go to Vaikuntha planets and come back. Narad Muni, same thing. And this is quality of Narad Muni. And we believe in the movies they show Narad Muni in a very devious character, that he is just trying to instigate some fight or create some doubts and this and that. He is in Shuddha Sattva. He's on the Shuddha Sattva platform. He's not in material passion or ignorance platform. Yatra na shreyasam nama vanam kam dughair drumah sarvartu shri bhir vibhraja kavalyam eva murtimat. In those Vaikuntha planets, there are many forests which are very auspicious. In those forests, the trees are desired trees, and in all seasons, they are filled with flowers and fruits, because everything in Vaikuntha planets is spiritual and personal. And in all seasons, they're filled with flowers and fruits, because they're all desired trees. So means all the seasons are there. It's not like it's only spring season. All the seasons are there. That is Vaikuntha. In the Vaikuntha planets, the land, the trees, the fruits, and flowers, and the cows, everything is completely spiritual and personal. The trees are desire trees. On this material planet, the tree can produce fruits and flowers according to the order of material energy. But in the Vaikuntha planets, the trees, the land, the residents, and the animals are all spiritual. There is no difference between the tree and the animal or the animal and the man because they're all spiritual. There is no difference between the soul and the body. It just that living entity wants to serve the Lord in that mood of maybe the tree or the animal or the man. Here, the word Murtimat indicates that everything has a spiritual form. Formlessness, as conceived by the impersonalist, is refuted in this verse. In the Vaikuntha planets, although everything is spiritual, everything has a particular form. The trees and the men have form, and because all of them, although differently formed, are spiritual, there is no difference between them. So that's why it's called the absolute platform. Because everybody is spiritual there. Only difference is in the mood of service, how they want to serve the Lord, in what rasa. That's all. Vaimanika salalanna charitani shashvat gayanti yatra shamlaksh apani shamlaksh plani bhartu antarjale anuviksan madhu madhavinam gandhen khandit dhiyo api analam kshipantah. In the Vaikuntha planets, the inhabitants fly in their airplanes, accompanied by their wives and consorts, and eternally sing of the character and activities of the Lord, which are always devoid of all inauspicious qualities. While singing the glories of the Lord, they deride even the presence of the blossoming Mathavi flowers, which are fragrant and laden with honey. It appears from this verse that the Vaikuntha planets are full of all opulences. There are airplanes in which the inhabitants fly in the spiritual sky with their sweethearts. There is a breeze, but these planes, they don't run by the mechanical arrangement that we have on the material world. These planes are again, they're all spiritual. They fly by the speed of mind of the people sitting on those planes. There is a breeze carrying the fragrance of blossoming flowers, and this breeze is so nice that it also carries the honey of the flowers. The inhabitants of Vaikuntha, however, are so interested in glorifying the Lord that they do not like the disturbance of such a nice breeze while they're chanting the Lord's glories. In other words, they're pure devotees. They consider glorification of the Lord more important than their own sense gratification. In the Vaikuntha planets, there is no question of sense gratification. To smell the fragrance of a blossoming flower is certainly very nice, but is simply for sense gratification. The inhabitants of Vaikuntha give first preference to the service of the Lord, not their own sense gratification. Serving the Lord in transcendental love yields such transcendental pleasure that in comparison, sense gratification is counted as insignificant. Wow. See, the breeze is carrying the aroma of the Madhavi flowers, and this is the service of the breeze. But the residents in Vaikuntha Lokas, they don't like it because it disturbs in the mood of service. It's just different world altogether. So anyway, tomorrow we'll read more about Vaikuntha planets. So we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna. Done.
Thank you so much for the class. About Vaikuntha planet, you mentioned once that it is like above, not above, like above Vaikuntha planet, it's Goloka Vrindavan, Golak Dham.
The topmost Vaikuntha planet is Golok Vrindavan.
So like we have 7 lokas up and 7 lokas down, that one. There also I didn't see about
No.
Vaikuntha. So it is above that?
Oh, these
Like it
planets are the
says
material
Golok.
universe.
Okay.
These planets are in the material universe. Vaikuntha is beyond the material universe.
Okay. So it means the top dham is Golak Vrindavan and down there is like Vaikuntha. That's what you said.
I won't say top dham like here the Satyaloka is the topmost planet.
Mm-hmm.
The topmost planet is Goloka because of the mood of devotees with in relationship with Krishna. That's why it's considered topmost, not in the physical sense topmost.
Yeah, because I got a little confused. I wanted to know the difference between Vaikuntha and Golak.
Yeah, the mood is, see, in Golok Vrindavan, all the 5 rasas are there: Shantras, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya.
Okay.
In Vaikuntha, Shant is there, Dasya is there, Sakhya is there, but that Sakhya ras is Gaurav Sakhya, means a friendship with awe and reverence.
Okay.
Not the pure friends like Krishna has his cowherd friends. Not that kind of friends. Like Ram considers Sugriv as his friend, but that friendship is different. Sugriv is not going to jump on the shoulders of Ram.
Okay.
But Krishna's boyfriends, they jump. And also, then this is Gaurav Sakhya is the topmost because there is no Vatsalya and the Madhurya as in Golok Vrindavan. Because Vatsalya with Ram, yes, Mother Kaushalya is there, but her mood is again of with awe and reverence, not like Yashoda and Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
And the mood of like Radharani and Krishna is not the same as Sita and Ram. So again, in mood between Sita and Ram, there is some awe and reverence. She respects him,
Mm-hmm.
but not in Golok Vrinda.
Because in everywhere, if somebody dies, if a sadhu dies here in Assam, everyone says that Vaikuntha Parayan ho gaya hai. So everyone knows that Vaikuntha is the only topmost abode. So Golak, no one knows
No, so
about
Golok is also one of the Vaikuntha planets.
Okay.
It's not
Yeah,
that it is Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha in the sense it is spiritual planet, but the mood is different in Golok.
Okay. Understood.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Any other question? Yeah, bolo.
And what is about Siddhalok?
Siddhalok is in the material world, in the material universe.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Thank you, Prabhuji.
You're welcome. Any other questions or comments? So I guess we can stop here. You all have a wonderful day and Happy New Year to all of you. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.